So if you want to level up your content, editing is one of the best ways to do it. And in this video, I'm going to be going through a beginner tutorial on Adobe Premiere about how to edit a YouTube video. I'm also going to be sharing a few tips from my workflow and even some advanced insights. So let's just dive into it right now. Hey, what's up? Sean Cannell here with Think Media, bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. And right now we're in the middle of a 4-part video series all about how to shoot, do a thumbnail, edit, and then ultimately upload a YouTube video so you can put out better content, grow your channel faster, and get more views. And if you actually want to watch part 1 or 2, in part 1, we did a whole video on shooting content with the Canon M50 or a similar DSLR or mirrorless camera. In video 2, we talked all about getting the thumbnail ready, and we're already done with that. And now it's time to actually edit our video. And so that's what we're going to be doing right now in part 3. If you missed out on the beginning of the series, I'll link it up on the YouTube card, as well as post a link to that playlist in the description below. But with that, let's dive right into how to edit a video in Adobe Premiere. All right, so step number 1 is take the SD card out of our camera, plug it into our card reader. In this case, I've got an extra long one plugged into my computer with this crazy cable so I can just easily get to it. But whether you're on a laptop or you have a PC or some kind of a tower, you definitely need an SD card reader. Capture your footage, and right now I've already actually downloaded it into an external hard drive. And here's how I organize some of my files. I've got my footage folder, and this is all of the footage that I shot in video number 1, including the A-roll and the B-roll. I've actually got the music folder, and we'll talk about that in a bit. The thumbnails, and we already created our thumbnail, but that's where I would save all the image files. And then I've actually got my intro bumper. Now, if you don't have one made, you don't need one, but this is just my little bumper for my Sean Cannell channel. And if you actually want to watch the final video, I'll link to that and post it in the description below as well. If you kind of want to see it either before or after, definitely check it out so you can see the final result. So what we're going to do is we have Adobe Premiere open. And if you've never used Adobe Premiere, it's a little bit more advanced, but I highly recommend it. So if you want to do a trial, I'll put a link to it in the description below. And I used Premiere for editing video, and then I used Photoshop to edit my thumbnails. And so we're going to do a new project here, and we are going to name it, right? So this was a Sean Cannell is the YouTube channel I'm posting this on, and it was a home office tour. So I'm going to do that, and we also, everything else here is pretty much good to go. And what's cool about Premiere lately is that it really will understand. In the past, you could select certain sequences and projects, and this might sound kind of crazy, but you'd have different frame rates, and you maybe need to know some technical details ahead of time. What's cool about Premiere now is you don't need to know those technical details. You can just drop your footage in, and it'll know how to interpret it for you. So here is the Premiere homepage. It says right over in the lower left, import media to start. That is our first step, or we ultimately could drop the media right on the sequence place here, and then that's gonna fill in these windows up here with other content once we do that. So I'm actually gonna select all of my clips and just drop them straight into the sequence, because right now it's importing all of our footage from what we shot with the Canon M50. All right, so now the footage is actually all in the timeline. Right now in the lower very left-hand corner, you can see that it's conforming the audio, which actually means that those waveforms are kind of showing up on here. So here's what I mean. If we want to make our 2 main kind of visuals here a little larger, this is our first layer of video and audio. And here's what I want you to think about. Right now on the screen, we can see some of the preview footage. And if you remember in video number 1, we talked about A-roll and B-roll. And so essentially, if this is your A-roll, which is your layer video number 1 here, maybe we want to pull in some B-roll. Here's all of our B-roll clips, but we don't need the audio on there. So I just unlinked the audio. Now I've got that clip released. So I could be talking in the A-roll here, but then it could show the B-roll while I'm talking. Does it make sense? So there's the B-roll clip, there's the A-roll clip, and I'm able to just drag and drop and move things all around here in the timeline. And so I'm actually going to delete this because of the order, and I'm going to sort this by name to get all of the files in the order I shot them, because they were in some kind of crazy order when I first dropped them into the sequence. So now when I take these all into the sequence, here's the cool thing. The main video should just be all the way through here until this is all the main video that I shot. Here's my outro. And what I'm doing on the timeline here is I'm using the hotkeys minus and plus to zoom in with plus, minus to zoom out. See that? So I can zoom into the edit. And so now if I actually go to here, this was all the B-roll clips. So I'm gonna move those off to the right. And here's the deal. I actually don't need any of the audio on these clips. And so what I did is I right-clicked, I clicked unlink. And so just to clean it up, this is the way I do it, is I'm taking this waveform to delete all that audio. This is all B-roll clips, makes sense? So those will go in later. And what I'm gonna do is start with the A-roll, the audio here. And so I'll turn this up a little so you can hear it.
Right.
And
setting up your home office in a way that,
Now, one of my biggest tips when it comes to editing is watching the audio. I've learned so much by being able to, obviously none of this matters, so I can just drag and hold and trim that clip down on the left because I'm restarting, I'm messing up. And it looks to me like I'm actually starting like right here, so let me see.
Hey, what's up? Sean Cannell here, and in this video, I'm gonna be doing a home office tour with a bunch of cool home office design ideas, whether that's ergonomics from the various chairs and ways of...
All right, messed up again. So now I'm gonna look at this one.
If you're looking for some home office design ideas, you're gonna love this video.
Now check this out. There's a hotkey called L, and I realize this is a beginner tutorial, but you're kind of seeing inside of my workflow. So ways I go faster is pressing the L button to speed up.
My name is Sean Cannell, and I've been a full-time entrepreneur for over 4 years now, freelancing well before that, and working from a home office. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite design and inspirational images and various posters and things like that, as well as my charging stations and a couple other cool features that I think will give you some great ideas for your home office. Coming in.
Now, a tip there is having a strong hook in your videos, and that was the hook, that was the opener, right? So now I'm actually going to drop in from my file folder the bumper, and if you've got one of these created, what you can do is just have it start right after your intro ends.
Coming in.
Boom. So there's the intro, very nice. And now I can cut into the video itself. And the main thing I do is I just work through from left to right, basically, on the edits. And I try to look at the waveform to see when I maybe got the intro right. So it looks like I probably restarted.
Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, Sean Cannell
here.
Hey,
what's up?
Hey, what's up,
there
Sean Cannell
here.
Okay, and welcome
4
to
tries.
My channel, which is...
Okay, so now that we're into the edit, let me recap a few things. First of all, I press spacebar to start and stop the video playing in Premiere so I can edit. Secondly, one of the cool things about Premiere is that you can edit while it's playing the file. So once I hit spacebar and it starts to play, then I can trim, delete clips, and move things around, and it's playing in real time. This is kind of advanced, so if you're just starting out in editing, don't hesitate to realize you're gonna probably go a lot slower than I am.
Little tip right there. One of my favorite features is I can right click in between and say ripple delete, and then just boom, bring it all back nice and clean. So if we replay this
for home office, coming up. Hey, what's up? Sean Cannell here, and
boom, and now we're going into the actual video. And so now you can see what I'm gonna do is go through the rest of the edit of the A-roll. I'm gonna be just trimming through all of the clips, bringing them back, and then we'll do B-roll after that.
So when I'm editing my A-roll, what I like to do is, if possible, shoot the video in order, right? So I shot the intro first, I shot through the rooms linearly. So when I drop all of that in the timeline, all I'm really doing is actually cutting away my mistakes, my restarts. And the way I'm doing that is I typically press spacebar to get it to be playing for me in real time. If I want to edit a little bit faster, I use the hotkey L on my keyboard. I'm editing on a PC, and that speeds it up so I can edit even faster. And then the two other tools that I'm using are the main cursor tool, which if you ever want to get back to that, you use the letter V on your keyboard. And then I use C. So C and V are right next to each other. C is for cut. That's the razor blade tool. And so to make modifications to a clip, I will either click on the left side and drag the clip in, on the right side, drag the clip in, or I use the razor blade tool. I click C on my keyboard so I can cut apart And then I click back on V so I can select the clip. That's just my normal cursor tool. So I can click on any clip and drag it anywhere. And I just kind of do that in real time, just massaging each clip so that only the content I want included is left there, deleting everything else, and then using ripple delete or dragging the clips to the left so that I'm quite literally putting the video together in real time with just the essential parts that I want to include, removing everything else.
All right, now one of the tips we shared in the first video was when I'm in front of the video, I had the shotgun mic pointed at me, but when I got behind the camera, I had the shotgun mic pointed back at me, but I was speaking like right into it. So the audio is a little bit louder. So what we're gonna do here in Premiere is I'm just gonna go audio gain -3 for now, and that'll let us go a little bit more quiet.
All right, so now let's check it.
Now, just to recap what you just saw, if you want to get to that audio gain option, I right-clicked with my mouse onto the WAV file. It opened up a tab with lots of different options and adjustments that you can make to your clip. And I selected audio gain. That's how you control the volume to make it louder or quieter. And the reason in this case, because I'm shooting behind the camera with the shotgun microphone right in my mouth, it's much louder than when I'm 2-3 feet away from the camera when it's in selfie mode. Now, if I'm really going to go deep in an edit, I'm probably going to take some time to adjust all the different clips throughout the video so they match as close as possible. If you look in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see those green bars going up and down. That is an indicator of how loud my vocals really are. Remember, don't just trust your headphones because your headphone volume could be louder or quieter. That's like a dashboard of exactly what decibels your audio is hitting. And for vocals, I want my audio to be -6 or -12. I don't want it to be too quiet, and I also don't want it to be too loud. Remember that as a video editor, your job is also to be an audio mixer, making sure that all the audio levels of the vocals are mixed nice and they're sounding great, and that if there's also music, that it's blending well and no aspect is overpowering another aspect of your final project. So let me tell you what I'm doing in real time to reinforce some of these concepts. I just right-clicked on the video, put the audio gain down a few decibels so that the audio is mixed better. I'm dragging the clips so that the editing is nice and tight from scene to scene, adjusting the audio a little bit more. I listen to it, I'm like, oh, it's maybe not quite quiet enough. Let me change it a few more decibels. Then I was like, I'm not even gonna include that clip at all, I guess. It's just being deleted. So that clip is deleted. I'm skipping ahead a little bit to sort of think through, okay, how does this story piece together? And then I'm ripple deleting those clips down so that the whole story is being compressed together.
Okay, so for a quick update, you can see on our timeline here, we have from the hook, we have the intro right there, and we've gotten through all of this editing so far. Now, at this point in the video, I kind of make a joke about this little plant. So what I'm gonna do is add a bars and tone. This is gonna add, so that it goes into my project files right over here. I can drag it in here. This is my favorite way to add like a quick comedy beep. And this is just built right into Premiere. See that? So, and then right after I say succulent, essentially.
Focus. It's a nice succulent.
That's a nice succulent. Beep. And then it kind of resets attention, a little bit of humor.
Can we get them in focus? Look at that one. My goodness.
My goodness. Delete all that. That's a nice succulent. Comic beep.
Goodness. It's a nice succulent.
Got that? All right, we'll keep going.
But I'm a big...
This video took me right around 30 to 40 minutes to edit total, and we are doing some jump cuts in this video to skip through it. But I want to encourage you with a couple things. I mean, number one, I've been editing video since 2003. And so I've kind of developed my own style and I've gotten really fast. You know, with the speed at which I'm editing, please don't get overwhelmed if you're just getting started. You might want to rewatch this video even another time just to pick up some of the nuances that I included in there for you.
So that's just a little...
Additionally, you will also get more comfortable over time as a content creator. Like for me, I even kind of remember what I said. I've gotten used to my own style, how I mess up, how I maybe repeat something 2-3 times. So when I'm pressing the L button to speed it all up, sometimes I'm just trying to rush to a part that I already know exists. Remember, one of my favorite ways to edit is by looking at the waveform. And when I see some no audio, when I see those down blank space moments of audio, or when I see a solid chunk of the waveform, that audio spectrum, when I see it solid for a while, but then I see a drop off, I'm like, okay, that's probably the ending. That's probably where an edit will be. So all of these things I've picked up over time. So I wanted this video to be like a primer for you, something to help you get started with Adobe Premiere, but be patient with yourself. Remember, practice makes progress. And the more you edit, the faster you will get. If you find yourself just staring at your project, feeling like you're going super slow when you're just starting, it's crazy. I mean, look at how complex this screen looks and all these different clips and all these different features and all the different hotkeys and buttons. Just be patient, pace yourself. And we'll also link to some resources in the description below. I mean, this is how I edit. I know there's some new modern features. There's some different things that are happening. Premiere is always updating, and there's even better ways probably to edit than this. This is just how I edit. But I'll link to lynda.com. I mean, there's some good Skillshare courses and some good Lynda, aka LinkedIn Learning courses that will walk you through Premiere or any video editing software, start to finish, learning feature by feature. But what I really wanted you to see here is that over time, it's possible to shoot, edit, do the thumbnail, upload a video, all within a matter of hours. This entire project probably took me 4 total hours from concept to completion. If you're just starting, that might take you 10 or 20. But I just wanted to show you what's possible. So as you get faster at editing, you'll be able to pump out a ton of high quality YouTube videos that can build your brand and your business faster.
All right, so a quick check-in here. We basically have all of our A-roll, right? I told the story from beginning to end of walking people through the office tour. So now it's all laid out in the timeline up until this point. I did shoot the outro with a different lens, a little bit of a blurry background to kind of switch things up, just to show kind of the full use of the M50 as a kit.
Hey,
and so,
much for checking in.
let me just cut to that outro. I think I can see it right on here.
So, hey,
again, I'm looking at the WAV file. You see how much I messed up, like 1, 2, or 3 times, and then eventually I know that when I start, the last time is the time I got it right? So I can always just get rid of the beginning of all that stuff, and then.
So thanks for coming along with me for a quick tour through the Think Media offices. If you want to see any of the various decor or products that I mentioned, I'll put a complete list in the YouTube description below, so go ahead and check that out. If you got value out of this video, smash the like button. And then also, if you have any questions about any of the home office things that I didn't cover or something in the background that you saw, please post those in the comments. And also, let me know what some of your favorite home office decor ideas are that keep you inspired and productive. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thanks again for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Boom. And there's the whole video. So look what we've done. We've got the whole A-roll laid down. And then the next thing I'm gonna do really quick is create the end card. So I'm gonna open up Photoshop to do this. Now, I've already spent the time building a template, which allows me to have the subscribe button up there. Remember that when you have an end card on YouTube, it can be a maximum of 20 seconds. So I already have this template created, so I'm just going to change the top video call to action that will end up on this video. I'm going to give a link to maybe a different video I've done. So how to make money on YouTube, great. And then watch another video. That one will be recommended by them. So all I have to do here is go save as. I'm going to drop JPEG on that guy and throw it in a most recent file. How to make money on YouTube. And watch how cool this is. Now all I have to do is drop in this end card into my timeline, and that'll be the outro of the video.
Ideas are that keep you inspired and productive. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thanks again for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Now, so I've dropped the end card in there. It doesn't need to be up there for the entire time. I usually only want it up there like 10 seconds or so. And so now I actually want to do music next. So there's a lot of different options for music. I actually have a video here on Think Media with some of the best free options. So if you want to watch that, click or tap the YouTube card, or I'll put it in the description below. But if there was one site that I feel like is the best all around for most YouTube creators, it's Epidemic Music. And they just have good pricing. It's very affordable if your channel's not very large. If you have a large channel, it's still affordable, but of course you can afford it as you start making more money. And so I already pulled up, as we saw in the beginning, the music folder. And so this is some of the songs I already looked up on Epidemic Music. And so one of the reasons why I love Epidemic is because you can really get clear on what music you want fast by just doing something like this. Maybe you say, okay, the mood I want is hopeful. The movement of it, like the pacing, busy, frantic, no, I kind of just want it to be smooth. And then the genre is electronic and dance. I want like beats. So then what it does is it only is showing you hopeful, smooth, electronica and dance. So we have old school hip hop, beats, disco. You can see the tempo, the beats per minute. You can actually see that as hopeful and smooth here, the energy level. Just Epidemic gives you so many details. So I spent some time picking out some good music. Okay, so for the outro, I want that end song to like drop heavy. So I have this song that actually has some lyrics in it. And that is copyright free though, because it's off of a site. Once you're paying for it, you're all good to go. So now when I'm also editing music, I like to do something similar. Remember how we were looking at the waveform? I can see where the drops are based on the waveform visually, right? And I've been doing this for a while, so you kind of get used to it, but. Ain't trying to link no time to waste. So that's the build. So there's the drop, and that's exactly what we want for the outro. And so it's a little loud. I'm actually gonna go -5 on this guy. And then what I wanna do is see the exact drop. There's the exact end card. Waveform wise, there's the exact drop right there-ish. Go back a little. And this has kind of some beats. Nice. So I'm gonna fade that up. So we're gonna jump over here into effects in Premiere, audio transitions, and constant gain. It's kind of weird. You'd think it'd be like crossfade or fade in. It's actually called constant gain. Peace. So I'm letting the song complete, so I'll finish the end card there. And that's kind of it, right? So we got the music in the end. What we're also gonna do now is now drop some music in the beginning. And for this edit, I'm not gonna go super in depth. I would normally go back through, maybe take out dead spots, do more editing. You could do music throughout, but we're probably just gonna do music in the beginning and the end. And so let's drop a little intro song and we'll mix it in. Okay, so you also heard it there. There's like a little swooshes, little ramp ups or whatever. And if you actually want to see the songs I use and check out Epidemic Music, I'll put some links in the description below so you can see those. But again, visually here, we can see this. So my opinion is work backwards from the drop. And so if we want the drop right when the logo hits, I'm gonna go -5 again because it's coming in a little strong. Then I can just pull this out backwards, make sense? And then what I'll do is I'm gonna do a little cut there, right click, audio gain. I'm gonna go -18. So I don't want this music to overpower my vocals. So then watch this, here we go. If you're looking for some home office design ideas, you're gonna love this video. My name is Sean Cannell, and I've been a full-time entrepreneur for over 4 years now, freelancing well before that, and working from a home office. So a couple things here again. In editing, I would probably go in and mix the audio more. I'm gonna turn this audio up a little bit. This could probably have like a 4. And keep in mind, one thing you wanna look at on Premiere is on the right side, there's waveforms. So see these waveforms right here? What you don't want that to ever peak. So you wanna mix that, and you can even get deeper into your audio if you click the audio tab and see how loud your music is. That's audio 3 compared to how loud your voice is. And then you think about the human ear, if those levels are the same, dude, people can't hear you. The music's overpowering. So you may pull the music down. And I always like to default towards the audience being able to hear the video. So I'm actually gonna make, once the song gets a little bit louder, I'm gonna take it down to like -22 here. And I'm gonna mix, we'll go back to our editing layout here on Premiere, fade those together. For that, and working from a home office. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite design and inspirational. Great, nice little music, and then here we go. Some great ideas for your home office coming up. So as that fade went up, I already had the sound effects on my intro. Boom, the drop happens, And then I made the fade a little longer, as you can see, you can just stretch it out, slide it around to get exactly where you want the quieter part of the song going up. You could also do this with keyframes. We don't even need to worry about those in this particular tutorial. And so then audio gain over here. Now I'm gonna go like -25. I want it to just kind of be a nice bed, but more about the vocals of me talking. And so here we go.
Hey, what's up, Sean Cannell here, and welcome to my channel, which is all
Little
about
too fast, so I'm stretching out that transition.
Hey, what's up, Sean Cannell here, and welcome to my channel, which is all about going further.
I'm actually gonna turn the intro down a little bit because of how loud it is compared to me, and maybe even turn me up to like without peaking. I'm sitting a little further, so I'm gonna go 7. All right, there we
Hey,
go.
what's up, Sean Cannell here, and welcome to my channel, which is all about going further, faster.
Okay, so at this point we could be done. We could just export the video right now, but there's a few other things I might wanna add in. One being maybe like a title. So let's just create one and I'll add a couple others later. I'm gonna go legacy title. I know there's a new titling thing on here, but I'm just gonna go easy, fast. And so a really quick way I like to title things is I just create a little black box here on Premiere, and then I'm just gonna go @Sean Cannell. And this way, if you wanna give a call to action to your social media, right? And I'm gonna use the font that I love to use. It is black italic, and then we'll just go white on that font. So now you can see that right in there. Boom, super cool. And that was it. And now that is over here in our media library, our project, and we can pull Sean in.
Hey, what's up, Sean Cannell?
So hey, what's up, Sean Cannell here. I could add a sound effect, same way, because now you're seeing how layers work, right? So you could add sound right here. These camera clicks, watch me, I'll mute this. That's a sound effect, right? It's edited in. So if I want a little swoosh in and swoosh out, that's a lot of times what we do.
Hey, what's up, Sean Cannell?
So then over here, I actually do have a plugin. It's called Impact Push. I'll link to it in the description below. It kind of gives you like a nice, not just like a heart, see, it gives you like a motion blur on your animations. And if I click effects here, I want it to come in from the left.
Sean Cannell here, and welcome.
That's, wow, that was a long journey all the way. I want it maybe from the right then, I guess.
Sean Cannell here, and welcome to my
There
channel.
you go. So, okay.
What's up, Sean Cannell here, and welcome to my channel, which is all about going further, faster in life. And if we're
Okay, so you see that guy, and then I can make him push off as well. So he comes in from the left, leaves the left. I don't know why it actually says right, so whatever.
Hey, what's up, Sean Cannell here, and welcome to my channel, which is all about going further, faster in life. And
Okay, so that is basically the full edit, which brings us to actually the export. And so what I'm gonna do is mark out, I'm saying that I want everything underneath this to be exported, but we're actually gonna do that in part 4 of this video. So I'll tell you all about how you can watch that in just a second. All right, so a few other things that I did after I finished the edit here was I added in some B-roll, right? So the A-roll is on that video layer 1 inside of Premiere. And then what I did was I added B-roll on top of that at the points where I talked about it. So I just took a few moments to do that, made a few tweaks to the audio, and besides that, our next step now is to export the video and upload it to YouTube. And that's what we're gonna be doing in part 4 of this series. So if you wanna check out the whole playlist and that next video, just click or tap the YouTube card or post it in the comments below. Question of the day, what software are you currently using to edit? Do you edit on your phone, a computer, a laptop? Let me know. And let me know if you have any other questions about editing. Drop those in the comments below. Smash the like button, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.